Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Conversations. I am your host V, and I am here with my girl. I had to bring her back because y'all loved her so much.
It's too good, too good.
It was too good. The previous conversation, we had to have her back. I'm here with Era.
Hey everyone.
How are you feeling today?
Girl, we did a lot.
We did a lot today.
We filmed a lot
Yep.
today. I'm good. This morning, a little bit nervous, but I feel like let's hit it out the park, girl.
I'm going to be honest with you before we even start. I
Yeah.
enjoy us filming on the same days. I
Same.
don't know, it just gives me so much peace.
A
I know
lot
the-
of peace.
The other hosts like shoot on their own days, but when I'm helping you and you helping me, it's
Yo.
like everything goes well.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. So on today's conversation, we will be
yes.
talking about my way or the highway. And the reason I thought about this conversation, is because the other day I was thinking about, I don't know, randomly I have thoughts of or flashbacks
Yeah.
in my head about past situations
Yeah.
or scenarios or anything like that. So I was thinking about my high school life and my rebel phase.
Yeah.
And I was just like, girl, when I look back and I see the things that I did, I was like, was it even worth it? Like, why did you even, why? But obviously every phase of life,
Yeah.
like it has its own lessons.
Yeah.
So I am grateful for the lessons that came with that.
Yeah.
But have you had a rebel phase?
Girl, yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
you never know. Some people are like too good.
I think like it depends what your rebel phase is, you know. Like for me, my first and second year of college. Hey, banana. Who was that girl? Who was that girl? But I know that girl had to have her moment for me to be who I am right now. But
Have you? Okay, I'm gonna need some tea because we cannot talk without some tea. So, what can you give me a situation maybe where I'm not limiting you to this, but where your parents might have told you not to do something and you didn't listen, and then you did it anyway because they don't understand. They were not.
it's not a phase, mom.
It's not a phase. This is who I am. But have you ever experienced that? And then also later on, you were like, regretted your parents were right? Have you ever experienced that kind of situation?
I think like growing up, I was quite chill. Like, I kind of want to say like, you know, when your parents are like, oh my word, like why isn't your room clean? And I'm like, mom, like, trust me.
Yeah, it's my room anyway.
There's a whole bunch of things that I could be doing, but I'm not. I'm just
Yeah. People my age are doing some stuff. I'm the good out of the kind.
oh my word, I think I can't say that actually. In grade 9. My parents don't even know this. So
Oh,
this is gonna
gosh.
be
Now you're
say
putting her on
tea,
the
girl.
interweb.
In grade 9, I remember like me and my friends, we were invited to go to a house party. And my parents were both overseas. So my friend told her mom that she
It's going to your house.
yeah. And I told my parents I would go
You're
to
going to
her
her
house. Not us Ubering all the way to Springs. And like Springs and like my hometown is like quite far from each other. But like we're Ubering all the way there and we're like, okay, I bet y'all house party. And we Ubered back from Springs.
Oh, God.
And my parents do not know. They know now.
Oh, my gosh. But do you have any regrets? Or you were like, after that, you were like, oh, we had a time last night.
I think my regret would be that I didn't. I'm kidding. It's like that I didn't do it sooner. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
I think I would say my regrets would be that not being vigilant about the danger of like what I was doing with my time, because like we were like 3 girls aged I think like 14 to 15
In South Africa.
yeah, Ubering at like 6 p.m. and then again at like 10 p.m. 11ish p.m. and I'm like, oh my word,
Anything could have happened.
anything could have happened and I wouldn't have been able to tell my parents.
How do you explain?
Because I mean, I told them I'm in her mom's care. She told her mom, she's in my parents' care, and we're both like, if something happens, who do we look to? We can only look
Exactly.
at ourselves. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
my old tea.
Mine is my matric year. We actually touched on this conversation. We
Ooh.
spoke about this
Oh,
off
oh, oh,
camera.
oh, 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 oh.
I was with someone, right, in matric, and so this person was my friend at first, and then we were together, and then I remember at some point, like, he would like do stuff for me, like order food for me and have it delivered. Like, but there was a vibe in the house that this
Yeah.
girl is dating someone, right?
Yeah.
Versus now, my parents are like, it is what it is. Like, they
Yeah.
know, it's obvious. They drop me off
Yeah.
at dates and that kind of stuff. So, but then it was very different.
Yeah.
And so they're like, one time, because I was rebelling even at that time, they called me
Yeah.
for a meeting of everything, like to address
Oh,
everything.
everything all at once.
Yeah. So they were talking about what have I been doing, misbehaving, me rebelling, that kind of thing, right? And then finally at the end of it all, and at that time I had some big kahunas. Like,
Yeah.
I was like standing on business. Like, this is me, take it or leave it. I don't care.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Yes, it's not a phase. I was like, even spoke about, yeah, I'm getting a tattoo. Like, no one's going to tell me anything. And they're like, huh? Child, what? And I was like, yeah, you can't tell me anything. No.
Yeah.
So then my dad finally asks me, and he's like, do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, this could go two ways. I could lie. Or I could just be like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm tired of lying.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Give me truth real quick. Give me
Yes.
truth.
I mean, I don't like lying anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, in the past I would have lied or hidden it or whatever, but I was like, yo, this lying thing is just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna just say it. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, huh? I think my parents couldn't even believe and process.
Was that like your first time when like you openly like
Yes, admit.
Oh.
It's like,
Yeah.
who's this?
Yeah.
Right? So they were like taken aback, and they were like, wait, girl, what? And I was like, yeah, I do. And then my mom's like, is that why you're getting deliveries every other day? And I'm like,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that is. My dad was like, why do you have a boyfriend? And I said, because we like each other. And then he was like, do you think he's serious about you? And I was like,
Yo, that's
because
not
I didn't want to admit to him
Yeah.
that I'm wrong,
Yeah.
and or I'm not sure. So I said, yeah,
Yeah.
he is serious about me.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you think this guy has good intentions with you? And I was like, yeah. Now, granted, the guy was not a terrible guy. Things didn't work out.
Yeah.
However, after we ended, our relationship didn't last longer than 3 months.
Wow.
But after we ended, a couple of months later, I was
Yeah.
just like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I should have listened to my parents, because
Yeah.
I don't think it was worth it. Like, I should have remained friends with that person.
I think like even like your dad asked such a important question, like why are you dating?
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't have a valid reason why I was
like
doing it.
I mean, like obviously, like you can say, oh, because I like we like each other, but you can like each other as friends. Why?
Why does it have to be dating? Right.
yo.
Which is another conversation. But for me at that time, I do think right now I'm not in the space where personally I would date with no reason.
Yeah.
Right. But at that time I was in that space, and
Yeah.
that's what I regret after months. Not the fact that I dated in high school, because there is a lot of people who get married from dating their high school sweethearts. I know that there's a couple that we went to high school with who recently got married.
Same, and I'm so happy for them.
I'm happy
Oh
for
my
them.
word.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not something that is impossible.
Yeah.
But it is like a slim chance
Yeah.
that it might work out,
Yeah.
because people change and they outgrow each
Yeah.
other and that kind of thing, right? So I think I don't regret me dating that person, but more of I regret dating in high school, because I personally didn't have a valid reason why I was doing it, other than, oh, this person is attractive, I'm
Yeah.
attractive, why not?
Yeah.
You know. But because I wanted to highlight on the fact that it is absolutely
Yeah.
normal for us to want to do
Things.
things that we want, like
Yeah.
because we are human beings, right?
Yeah.
We have a certain I this is how I like to word it, but we have a control freak spectrum.
Yeah.
Everyone is on a different place in the spectrum, right? Some have more control freak tendencies. I'm one of them. God is still working on it.
Yeah.
So it's very normal for us to want to do whatever we want with our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, it is your life,
Yeah.
even though it is
Yeah.
God's life.
Yeah.
You know,
I know what you mean.
even
I know
though
what you mean.
God borrowed you
Yeah.
this life, it
Yeah.
is yours, and
We're
you
all
have
living
free.
on like borrowed time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for me, I understand that it's completely normal, right?
Yeah.
And I do think God understands that
Yeah.
it's completely normal
Yeah.
because we are always wrestling with flesh,
Yeah.
our flesh, and that doesn't always mean what example can I use?
Like it's a bad thing.
Yes,
I
it's
think
not.
like us having free will kind of shows that like God understands, but like obviously depending what we do with it. Because, you know, if I'm gonna act crazy, yo, consequences will follow my actions. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh yeah,
Yes. So
that kind of exists.
I think also the other thing that I also realized in having my way and wanting to do things my way
Yeah.
is that, and understanding God's posture on that, we'll get deeper into that. But I do think the same way
Yeah.
we try and rebel from our parents
Yeah.
as teenagers
Yeah.
is the same way we rebel with God, right?
And we play in his face. I
Yes.
said what I said, y'all.
At certain, I think in everyone's Christian journey, there is
Yeah.
a point where you choose to rebel, even though you know the truth, you choose to rebel. Some people, they do have that phase more than once, right?
Yeah.
I think I've had it more than once.
Same.
Yeah, I definitely had it more than
Yeah.
once. So, but I think that brings me to the point of understanding who God is,
Yeah.
right? Beyond, because I think when I was a teenager, I used to see God as this being that just sets rules and regulations,
Yeah.
and no one can question
Yeah.
him on it,
Yeah.
and we just have to do it. And that bugged me so much, and I think that is part of the reason why I just didn't want to hear it. Like, because I was like, why are you telling me what to do?
Yeah.
Right?
And then God's like, I give you all of these like parameters to move in freedom, but also like not everything you can do is good for you. Yeah.
So since we're getting you flew past another thing that I wanted to talk about. I did want to speak about that, but I just wanted to ask you because God challenged me about looking at him differently from a being that sets rules and regulations, and see his heart posture and who God is
Yeah.
as a father.
Yeah.
Because I realized that the same way my parents didn't want certain things for me at certain times, because maybe in high school they didn't want me to experience heartbreak so that I can lose focus on what I need to do, like focusing on my books in matric, like it's a critical year, right? If this boy breaks my heart, I might be immature and not be able to handle it. So it's the same with God. Like, he wanted me to look into who he is as a father. So what do you think, to you personally, and what God has spoken to you in the past about, what do you think God's character is like? Or what do you think about, his character traits? What do you think?
I think a big thing is like, I kind of want to say acknowledging him in the Old Testament, you know, because, you know, sometimes growing up, you're like, oh my word, like the New Testament God and the Old Testament God. Ugh. And I'm like, yo, they are the same God. Like,
Sorry to cut you off,
like,
but I saw this this funny video or skit or whatever, and then somebody commented, and so they were basically saying God in the Old Testament was like, you doing this, you die, you doing this, you getting, I'm taking everything from you. You doing this? I'm doing this. So people were like, someone commented, which made me laugh. Because it's like a topic in conversation now. But someone was like, Jesus taught God gentle parenting. And I was just laughing because I was like, wait a minute. Because when you look at the Old Testament, which is before Christ, and the New Testament, so that just made me laugh. I'm sorry for cutting you
like
off.
a big thing for me is like acknowledging just like when Christ says he comes to like fulfill the law, you know, and I'm kind of like, okay, Jesus, I need to understand that prospect of everything. And for me, in how it came to view God was, I need to also viewing from that perspective, you know, like
Mm.
there's no one who is just one dimensional,
Mm.
you know, God included. I mean,
Mm.
literally, like God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
But I think like knowing that there's so much more to him, and actually being open to learn and experience that.
Mm.
So that would be like, obviously, like his love, his grace, his peace, his kindness, his gentleness, but also being
Mm.
like, he is just. You know,
Mm.
he is the king, he is
Mm.
sovereign, he reigns, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And having that thing about, okay, how can I expect to, I kind of want to say, like, how can I, me personally, get mad at people when they view me as one dimensional,
Mm.
but I, but I don't give them the opportunity to see me as more,
Mm.
or like they don't make they don't make the case to see me for like my various sides,
Mm.
you know. So that's kind of like how I've been viewing God, is getting to know him as more than just God,
Mm.
you know, like God the Father, getting to know him as like a first love, a friend, all of these things.
Mm.
And yeah, man, what a journey! What a journey!
I think you've said a lot of the things that I personally
Mm.
saw in God's character by reading his word, which is like he's loving, he is kind, he is
Yeah.
just. And I think the justness of him is for our good
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
because he knows
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So, just knowing that he also is a merciful God and he is gracious, just like how your parents are, as much as they might be mad at
Yeah.
you for not listening to them,
Yeah.
they still, it's not like they push you away
Yeah.
because of that, right?
Yeah.
In fact, in those moments, they want to bring you closer so that they can teach you, so that you don't make the same mistakes,
Yeah.
or you don't go into maybe the wrong path, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, every person is like subjective to everyone,
Yeah.
but yeah. And another verse that reminded me of who God is and his
Yeah.
characteristics was Exodus 34 verse 5 to 6. It says, the Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. Hold on, I should have probably gotten the other verses before, but the thing that stood out for me is
Yeah.
the Lord, the the Lord, the Lord. Sorry, guys, yo, the Lord is a merciful and great. The Lord, English, yo, buffet. God is merciful and gracious. He's slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. And I
Yeah.
think that gave me so much clarity in understanding that God
Yeah.
is more than just don't do this and don't do
Yeah,
that. And
definitely.
even in the don't do this and don't do that,
Yeah.
there is reasons.
Yeah.
And when you maybe look into his word more,
Yeah.
you understand why maybe he has reasons for saying that, excuse me, we shouldn't do certain
Yeah.
things, you know. So why do you think we need to trust God's will?
Yo. I think for me, yo, like I personally, I know myself. Um, good start already. Like I know myself in terms of, like I, like have like tendencies just to act out of pure emotion. Like, I mean, like we had a chat before
Girl.
this off camera, and I was like, yeah, and then this happened. I was like, oh my word, oh my word.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing is that God does not do that. He doesn't act just out of like pure emotion, like, oh, this happened, da. This happened, da. So I can kind of be like, knowing that he remains like yesterday, today, and forevermore the same. And that actually gives me so much like security when I move, you know. Like I'm not gonna be like, hey, we dala, we move, we go, out of my own emotionalist state.
Yeah.
But what I found is like for me, in like my day-to-day life, not even like long term when I die, when I unalive.
Whoa.
But like in my day to day life, you know, just being like knowing that the way he does stuff is it's just like better, you know, and I will gain more clarity from it. And yeah, man, I like to move with a sense of security rather than this impending feeling of what am I doing with my life?
But is it still a sense of security if you don't know like what could happen?
Hey, but no, Q Aaron 2019.
We're going back, flashback.
We're taking it back in time, y'all. When I tell you, yo, 2019. I remember. I think I told you this. I was like, Lord, I want to be in the industry. I want to be in the industry. I would send out emails to agencies, not actually like giving them like concrete stuff to work with, just being like, hi, I am Erin. I want to be an actress. Nah, 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 nah. And then, you know, I got an opportunity to go overseas for this like talent convention thingy. And throughout that entire process of being like, do I actually do this with my life? What's the goal that I want to? I mean, like, I'm like 14, 15-ish, being like, what do I do with my life? But I know this is what I am going to do with my life. The logistics of getting there, y'all don't ask me anything. But I think definitely in that whole thing about my way and the highway and also being like, ain't no way.
It's not happening.
It's not happening, but things are happening, is just continuously moving in the direction that I was told to move in, you know, like a GPS, y'all. If the GPS does not say turn left or turn right, you just keep on going straight.
You know why
Yeah.
I asked about is it really security if you really don't know the outcome?
Yeah.
Because even though we are trusting God, we really don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
And when it could happen and how it could happen. Like that is unknown to us. And that's why I was
just
asking.
move, eh?
Yes. But the reason why I asked that is because I think for me, I understood that I think the thing that encouraged me that I could be secure in the not insecurity.
Yeah.
But I could be secure in God even though I don't know what could happen. And I think the thing that encouraged me to be like trust him and his will is the fact that God is an all-knowing God.
Amen.
So he knows every possible outcome to every possible decision. So if I choose to go on the highway, right? Or I have two options, turning left and turning right. He knows what is going to happen if I turn left. He knows what's going to happen if I turn right, right? So if he's a God who knows all the possibilities of my decisions and all the possible consequences of all the decisions that I could possibly make, surely he knows which ones are the best for me and not, right? So I think that gave me a sense of feeling like I don't know where I could go. There's a meme that I saw years ago and I used to post it a lot, where it's like they used Kevin Hart's voice but then Christian creators used it and he's like, where you going? I don't know. How are you getting there? I don't know. Are you gonna be okay? I don't know. I don't know. And it's really how it is on most days. Like most of the time we don't know. And it's for me, I felt like it is better for me to not know in God's will than to not know in mine, because I could take myself into the lion's den and that was not God's intentions. God's intentions with who was it that was sent Daniel in the lion's den? God, I was almost about to say Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I said, hold on, that ain't the story. But God knew the outcome of, even if you're going to be put in the den, I got you, right? That was God's, it might have been God's will for that to happen. But also, the other thing, how do we know?
Oh, yeah.
What?
I'm nervous for the question.
No, it's not that heavy. But how do we get to know God's will?
Yo, I think like a given is, you know, his word. Like, he's not someone who acts against his word.
Ooh, so good.
So, like every single time, like one big thing that people always say, yo, if you get a word, a vision, a prophecy, a whatever, and you're like, Lord, is this you? Is it not? Yo, check the scriptures. So, yeah, I just genuinely feel like sometimes, no, not sometimes, all times, we have to check up with the word. But also what I've learned is, oh my word, girl, when I tell you, I know a lot of people who they've read the word, and I know it's so easy for it to just like go over your head.
Yeah.
But like you need this spirit to like, you know,
Discernment.
like discern that.
Mm-hmm.
And even like if you're not a believer, I think a big thing is like if you do want to step closer with God, yo, just be open. And what I've learned, because I have like a lot of friends who like either in different religions or they didn't have like a faith they follow at all, but you know, we all look at the same sunset, and they're like, all of us are like
Amazed.
wow,
At
amazed
its
at the same
at
thing.
its beauty.
And
Yeah.
I'm over here being like, my God did that. He did that. So yeah, I think in his word, 100% the first go to.
I
Yeah.
think touching or adding to you saying like the very obvious answer is like through his word, getting
Yeah.
to know or trusting. How do we know what God's will is?
Yeah.
But also, I think it also links intertwines into trusting God, right? And we're not able to trust someone we do not know
Yeah.
because we are human. If you meet a random stranger, you're not gonna trust them
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
money, and if you or anything that belongs to you, right? So the same concept, I think I like to take it like that. The same concept with God. If I don't know God at all, then I can't trust him with my life because
Yeah.
I don't know him,
Yeah.
right? Because for all I know, God could be crazy. He's not crazy, but I'm saying who could be
Yeah.
like, and then I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing for me was that. But
Yeah.
while we getting towards the end,
Yeah.
we've kind of already touched on this, but I just want to highlight on why God's will is better than mine.
Yeah.
Right? I think God knows that we are human.
Yeah.
He understands that it's a process.
Yeah.
He understands that we do not change overnight.
Yeah. He's
we
a God of process.
yes, we always continuously transforming, right?
Yeah.
And because we are human, we're gonna struggle with certain things. Like I know personally, I like to speak on personal experiences.
Yeah.
I do know currently there is a lot of things that I have surrendered to God and
Yeah.
he trusting his will over. But there are things that I haven't completely given unto him.
Yeah.
And I think what is important is our heart posture. God looks at heart posture. God knows, for example, that we sin, right?
Yeah.
Jesus died for us, obviously, for our sins, but he knows that there is always a possibility that you're gonna stumble, right?
Yeah.
But he's also looking for your heart posture. He's not looking for someone who intentionally sins. You know,
Yeah.
that is a different heart posture.
Yeah.
So if you actively are one by one, every element of your life, you're like, Lord, I'm giving you my finances.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm giving you my mind.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm giving you my mouth so
Yeah.
that you can cleanse my mouth so that I can be
Oh,
able to speak
wow.
better.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm giving you my heart. I'm giving you
Yeah.
my unforgiveness. You know, being in total surrenderance to him is a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
I do think that sometimes you can think that you're in total surrender, but you're not,
you're not.
right? So I do think that because God is a father, he understands that this is a process, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to make mistakes,
Yeah.
right? But I'm right here
Yeah.
to
I'm here to help you.
yes, I'm here to help you. And the other thing that also reminded or encouraged me on this whole topic of God's will is that the story of Jesus is obviously God, but he also came on earth as a human, as man, right? He walked this life like everyone else in his lifetime, right? He did face the same exact maybe not every exact, because we can never go through the exact same story, right? But he also faced stuff the same with
Like he
like,
knows what betrayal is like. I
yes.
think like a big thing is like, especially like during like the Easter time,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it was like the Garden of Gethsemane when no, yes, no, yes, oh yeah, when he's like, yo, like I can't do this, like if you're willing to take this cup from me, please,
Mm.
but even so, not my will but yours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that is such a crazy hard posture.
Mm.
And I feel like it definitely speaks into our generation. What we tend to lack
Mm-hmm.
is that thing of like surrenderance and just humility.
Mm.
Like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do this.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, I might not be the smartest, I might not be this, I might not have this,
Mm.
but still being like, you know, Lord, not my will,
But
but
yours.
yours.
I think also, to add on what I was saying, I think
Mm.
also you reminded me of something, but even the story of, is it Abraham who sacrificed his child?
Yes. Well,
Even
almost.
almost even his story, like the fact that he
Mm.
trusted God, like he, guys, if you have a child, especially think about you, if you gave birth to a child,
Yeah.
you gave birth to this child, would you want to give that child up as a sacrifice? Do you know how difficult that is? The same as with Christ, right?
Yeah.
Christ's life is always something that I like to reflect on, and I
Yeah.
try and strive to be like him,
Mm.
because of the fact that he was also human.
Yeah.
I realized that it is
Yeah.
possible. It is hard, but it
Yeah.
is possible.
Yeah.
So when Christ came to this earth, and he did know that he was going to
Yeah.
die for us on the cross. He did
Yeah.
know. But in the moment where he was on the cross and he
Yeah.
says, Lord, Lord, why have you forsaken me?
Yo.
I always ask myself, which is something that isn't
Yeah.
confirmed yet, but I always think in that moment, I'm like, I don't know if Jesus knew that he was going to rise on the third day, right?
Mm.
But he still trusted God in the end. Like, even imagine knowing in 2025, I'm going to be crucified, right? I don't know if I'm going to rise up
Yeah.
again, right?
I think also like in that moment, like it shows just like, I don't know, like this, like actually no, I'm gonna tell you this later. Never mind.
So even in if you know that this is going to happen, right, and it's something excruciatingly painful, right, and still trusting God throughout life and realizing that this is purpose, this is what is supposed to happen, right? You don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I tried looking in the Bible to see if the Lord himself knew that he was going to rise. I do know that there were prophets who prophesied in the Old Testament
That he
who
would.
spoke
Yeah.
about he will rise on the third day. But
I think Jesus knew, but like the human aspect of it is like,
kicked in
oh
that
my
moment.
word, this is actually happening, Chief.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is actually happening, but am I really going to rise? Because I feel like I'm dying. Imagine
That's
that kind of
crazy.
feeling. So I think Jesus's walk always is one thing that I reflect on. I'm like, if the Jesus can do it, then I can also do it,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's the biggest thing I like to I was speaking to some guy that I went to university with last year. I was like, I think God is really challenging me to be more like Christ in every aspect. I remember we were speaking earlier with you and the Dash.
La Dash.
And we
Hey,
were speaking
girl.
about oh my gosh, my thought left my mind. Yeah, guys. But anyway, we were speaking about I completely
What about
forgot.
music?
No, we were in the bathroom. But anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up. Maybe it wasn't meant to be on this episode. But before we close, I just want to read this Bible verse that we all know and love. And we love to quote. It's Jeremiah 29.
Verse 11?
Yes, but I'm going to start it by 10.
Awesome.
It says, this is what the Lord says. When this was during, gosh, why am I forgetting? I read the story. During the exile of
The
Buffet.
Israelites.
It's not the Israelites. Go and read it. I forgot. My mind is foggy. But God is saying this is what the Lord says.
Yeah.
When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my good promise to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord. This verse, I think a lot of the times we just like to read verse 11, but
Yeah.
realize I'm guilty.
Verse 11 is everyone's go-to. And I'm like,
Yes.
yo,
Verse
this,
11 is
the
everyone's
context of
status
it.
and Instagram and everything. But it just reminded me that God is a God who is a promise keeper, right? He did tell the Israelites that he's going to free them from
Yeah.
slavery, obviously
Yeah.
through Moses. But he doesn't tell us how long it is, because
Yeah.
a day is as good as 7 years, and 7 years is
Yeah.
as good as a few hours to God. You know,
Yeah.
time is not a thing to him.
Yeah.
But he is a God who fulfills promises.
Yeah.
So if he says he has the best intentions for you, it's true.
Yeah.
And I've seen that as a testimony in my own life with the little things.
Yeah.
And yeah, the things that I was like, I don't know why I'm going through this, and this is looking very shaky.
Oh
And
my
God, where are
word, girl,
you? And why am,
same.
you know? Even in those moments, when I came out of those moments, I look back and I'm like, you know what? And this is what I have gained from that experience. Whether that may be spiritual growth, whether that be
Yeah.
emotional growth, whether that be opportunity
Yeah.
growth for me to be able to have certain
Yeah.
opportunities.
I
You know
think
what
a
I mean?
big thing that I like just took away from that verse, well, two things actually, is it kind of like gives a way of like the highway and my way. You know, my way is, there is like a kind of like a Babylon, you know. Let's just go, y'all. Let's get the bag. And then the highway would be, you know, God's way. That, but he's the one who has plans for you. He's the one who will prosper you. But like all in that, like we need to keep in mind, it's like my way can only take me this far. I can only reach my full potential in my own strength to like a certain degree. But also what's passing my mind like right now is kind of how all of us, and I mean like all of us, like the entire world, like every single human being on this earth, like all of us just want to do good in life. You know, like I don't think anyone wakes up being like, oh my word, let's absolutely have the worst day possible, because like we have that hope that goodness is around the corner. You know, I feel like it's like built into us kind of. But what the scripture is also like, there is someone who has our absolute best interest in mind, better than we can even
Imagine.
like fathom. You know, and it's kind of like heartwarming when you think about it like that, is that yes, I have my best interest in mind. Maybe, you know, you think the people around you, yes, they might also, but knowing that, you know, the God of this universe, he's kind of like, hey, you're kind of like everything to me, and I have millions of thoughts towards you, and I'm just like, okay, Lord. Okay, Lord,
You feel special.
yeah, I am special.
Well, that was beautifully said. I don't have anything to add to that. This was a lovely conversation.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we even shared some personal experiences. But thank you so much
Sorry,
for coming.
Mom. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. I know I put you through some stuff. But thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
obviously,
girl,
I know you're going to
same.
come back
Yeah.
again. Like, it's obvious. It's given. Guys, we talk like... Anyway,
We talk.
we talk so much. Like, so much. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for
guys.
having
Thank you
me.
guys for watching. Go watch her episode as well.
Yes.
That she filmed with Ladash. It was a very cute
Ladash.
conversation. But thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.